So, I listened to the new Porter Robinson album Nurture yesterday. As a longtime fan of Porter, I was very excited to listen to this new album. Worlds is one of my favorite albums of all time, and Goodbye to a World off of that album is my favorite song of all time. Overall, I was satisfied by Nurture. It didn't exactly exceed my expectations, but it was a solid 8 out of 10 album, and I can confidently say that 13 out of the 14 songs were at least enjoyable. However, one was not, so let's start there. Number 14, my least favorite song off of Nurture by far, was Wind Tempos. This is for a few reasons. The beginning is very atmospheric, but it drags on for so much longer than it needed to with barely any build-up. The piano section it leads into is very nice and easily my favorite part of the song. However, my biggest gripe with the whole song was the vocal loop in the latter half. It was incredibly grating to listen to over and over again, and it made the experience very unpleasant. I find this song to be Nurture's Sea of Voices in a way, except while Sea of Voices is a masterfully made crescendo, this is an amateur attempt at recreating the same vibe. I expected more from Porter, and luckily the other 13 songs satisfied that expectation. With the one bad song out of the way, let's head to number 13, which is Do Re Mi Fa Sol La Ti Do. While I enjoyed the song for the most part, it was a bit basic. I didn't really like the sample of children that was used throughout it, and I feel like that is a practice that should stop in general. I don't have too much to say about this song otherwise, so let's move on to number 12. In 12th place, I have Mother. Just like my last two, there's a big jump in enjoyment between number 13 and number 12, as I think that numbers 12 and up are all solid. I really enjoyed the message in this song, and it's one I can relate to personally. The vocals aren't bad, and the only reason this is so far down is that I just enjoyed it less than the others. My number 11 is Look at the Sky. Despite thinking that the song was fine, Look at the Sky is easily my least favorite single off of the album. It has a nice and energetic chorus, but outside of that, it left me wanting more. I will concede that the music video was adorable though. In 10th, I have Dull Scythe. Dull Scythe improved immensely between the first 2 and last 2 minutes, however the more experimental first half drags down my opinion of it quite a bit. I think that if the experimental portion was shorter, it would have been a positive addition to the song rather than a detriment, but I know Porter is competent enough to make this song how he thinks would be best. The second half of Dull Scythe is great. It finally seems to find its footing, and it makes for a great ambient tune. 10th to 9th is another pretty large jump for me. We are now getting to the songs I would revisit willingly. In 9th, I have Trying to Feel Alive. I'm not too big a fan of the vocal loops near the beginning, but the instrumentation makes up for it heavily. The quote-unquote drop at the minute 40 mark is a highlight of the entire album, and really makes the song for me. I also enjoy the vocals, as it's nice to hear Porter sing sometimes without the pitch shift. My 8th favorite song on the album is the opener, Lifelike. Lifelike is a short but incredibly calming song that ties extremely well with the rest of the album. The string section adds a sort of folkish feel to the song, which I think makes it all the better. My biggest gripe is how short it is, which in some ways is really just a compliment. Next, in 7th, I have Musician. Musician is the second single on this list, and the last song before we get into the 6 that I believe are by far the best songs on the album. And while Musician doesn't quite make the cutoff, I still really enjoyed it. Musician grew on me a lot between the first 2 listens especially, as the second time around I started really getting into the more upbeat feel of the song. The chorus is especially catchy, and the parts that Porter sampled from one of his unreleased tracks with Caro Caro Bonito added a lot to the feel of the song. Now, for the 6 that I will come back to often, even long after the hype surrounding Nurture dies down. In 6th, I have Get Your Wish. This was the first song released for Nurture back in January of last year, and probably my second most listened to of the songs on this list. Get Your Wish set the mood of what to expect in this album expertly, and the powerful chorus along with the well-incorporated pitch-shifted vocals made me excited to hear what the rest of the album would bring. My 5th favorite song from Nurture is Sweet Time. Sweet Time, along with one other song that has yet to be mentioned, are what I believe to be the 2 most consistently good songs on the album. Sweet Time, as the title suggests, creates this serene atmosphere, almost as if you're floating among the clouds as you listen. The piano at the beginning weaves well with the ambient backing track, instantly pulling you in. In addition to the mood of the song, the vocals are nice, with Porter ditching the pitch shifting for the first half of the track. Porter's explanation of the lyrics made me appreciate the song even more, and it communicates a sentiment that hopefully I and everyone else will one day feel. From one of the most consistent tracks to one of the least, my number 4 is Unfold. I believe that the chorus of Unfold is the best part of the entire album, period. Totally enormous extinct dinosaurs' vocals add a good contrast to Porter's pitch-shifted singing as well. However, I was not a fan of the extremely staticky vocals put in before the third chorus, and I was put off by the, slurping sounds that were put in after the second chorus. Still, the highs make up for the lows by a large margin. Now, for the top 3. 2 singles and 1 album only. In third is one of the 2 singles, Something Comforting. I said earlier that Get Your Wish was the song that I listened to the second most. Well, this was number 1 in that regard. I must have listened to this song 100 times by now, and I'm still not sick of it. I'm a big fan of Porter's more explosive songs such as Goodbye to a World and Sad Machine, as well as the aforementioned Unfold, and this is a good example of one of the better songs of his in this regard. In addition, the mix between Porter's normal vocals and his pitched-up vocals near the end of the song fits the song's message very well. My one issue with the album version of the song is that it gets rid of about 5 or so seconds of the music on the non-album version right at the end, which I always find a bit off-putting. Coming just short of the top, in second place, was the biggest surprise of the album for me, Blossom. Blossom is the other of the 2 songs I found to be incredibly consistent throughout, along with Sweet Time, but I enjoy the guitar work on this song so much that I put it above Sweet Time by a fair bit. One of the best parts of the song is the duet between Porter's normal voice and his pitch-shifted voice, which I believe fits the song perfectly. In addition, the parts where the guitar goes into what I believe is the minor key is my second favorite part of the entire album, after the chorus to Unfold. The song is an extraordinarily pleasant lullaby of a tune, and one track I will never forget. Now, it's finally time for number 1. Using the process of elimination, you've probably already figured it out, but in case you have not, my number 1 is Mirror. Mirror, as Porter describes it, is a song that really grows on you the more you listen to it, and that is really true. Mirror is complex in a way that is easy to grasp, and it makes for a listening experience that is neither annoying to keep up with, nor boring and repetitive. The message of this song is inspiring, especially since it's coming from a person who has dealt with those problems of burnout. Mirror has stood the test of time, and fitting with the title, really makes you reflect on life. So there it is, my ranking of Nurture by Porter Robinson. I did enjoy this album, minus wind tempos, and I personally believe that it was worth the wait. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave suggestions or your own rankings in the comments.